The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. Well, we're going to start the show a little different today because there's a major announcement going on here from our good friend Art Crawford. I've posted the chart. You'll notice those trucks. Those are MI6 out of London. You know, that's their Secret Service dudes. And notice how they're moving the Stonehenge stones because of the changing time of daylight savings time going away. It's very, very important. Not many people see that. Okay, that's enough of the jokes for the day. Arch is the ultimate conspiracy theorist, and he sent that to me this morning, and I laughed up. I laughed for about 10 minutes. Anyway, let's. Someone's asked a question about Bill Meridian. Bill is tied up. I don't know if he's tied up or not, but he's in a place where he doesn't have internet, and he prefers not to do anything unless he has the charts and stuff to go along with it. But it is a big deal what's going in Saudi Arabia. Don't dismiss that. It's a big thing. How it's going to end, I don't know, but it's something that is pretty important. We'll take a quick look here at the DAX. You'll notice last night we started to get a sell-off in some of these things. This is the DAX index. Now remember, this only goes back a couple of weeks, so it's not a long-term chart. The long-term charts are still, very, very strong. And the same thing happened, with the FTSE, which is the London market. No, no, he's not at the Ritz in Riyadh. And believe me, that is not a territorial prison. Let me tell you, this is a big thing over there, folks. It really is, because a lot of those are family members, and that's it's something really important. I don't even know the understanding of it yet, but it's really, really something pretty big, I would think. But to think there would be corruption in politics, wow, this is what really scares me away. Hopefully it would never happen in our country. All right. Anyway, let's take a quick look. We're going to cross the pond a little bit the other way. We're going to go across the Pacific, and we're going to look at the market that's in the news right now. First of all, let's put it up here to take a look at it. This is the Japanese Dow, the Nikkei Dow. We'll put this up here, and I want to show you because it's having a run like we've not seen in many, many years. You can see since September, well, it was actually around election time, September, it had this tremendous move here. We're up against some pretty strong numbers here, the 1.618 from the 2015 high, and also the 1.27 of the 2015 high. But the main thing that we want to pay attention to here with the Nikkei is the longer-term picture of what really has happened here in the Nikkei. And I'll bring this up here, to take a look at it, because, we had a crash in 1987, and the Nikkei, hardly even budged. I think it was down, a small amount that day, and it continued to go up until Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve of December of 1989, when it topped just under 40,000. It almost hit 40,000. It was 39,000 and change. And from there, over the next 20-some years, it went down all the way to 7,000. I remember that very clearly because at that point we had a three-drive pattern, and that was my trade of the year for 2009, as I recall. And so it was interesting to see that we did get that big rally. What we're doing now is we're making a 50% retracement of that whole move in the market. Now, 1989 was a really big year with that topping. But let me explain to you what was happening in Japan at that time. I told you yesterday about how the reporter for CNN put $1,000 bill on the ground and said that's how much real estate you could buy for $1,000 in Japan. Well, I was in Pismo Beach doing my trading, and I had trained a young lady. Well, she wasn't that young; she's about my age, up in Seattle, and she was in a real estate, mom and pop real estate business with her husband, and he was wanting to get into trading too. And they had about 45 listings, and they said they were trying to wind this down. And as soon as they sold those 45 listings, they were going to go into trading full time. They got a call from a gentleman in Japan who asked what their listings were and if he could take a look at them. And so they faxed the listings over to them. Those were the old thermal faxes. And about 2 or 3 days later, the gentleman called up and he said, "I'd like to make an offer on all your properties at full value." And of course, they thought the guy was, on, Pepto-Bismol or whatever you want to call it. Pismo Beach is just south of San Luis Obispo. It's 100 miles, it's 80 miles north of Santa Barbara. It is one of the most beautiful places in California, and I can tell you this, I've been all over the, yes, John Jameson's still short the arrow. And then the main thing is that it's the most beautiful place I've ever lived, and it is really spectacular. If you look every year, it's always between the first 5 places. And anyway, let's get on to what's going on with these markets. Home of the Cal Poly Mustangs. You're absolutely correct. All righty, that's where my grandson lives. And I have to tell you a funny story. My daughter called me up yesterday, and she said, "Dad," she says, "you're not going to believe this." She said, Chase was in there with 2 of his buddies in his bedroom, and I was taking the laundry in. She said, I opened the door, and she said, "You can't believe what they were doing." And I said, "Oh, my God, what was it?" She said, "They were listening to the archive of your radio show." And I said, "No," and they really were. Evidently, one of his buddies said, "What is it that your grandpa does?" And so they were listening to it. I guess they didn't stay in it very long because, anyway, who knows. Let's move on here to the next one where we're talking about this. Anyway, the gentleman made an offer on all these properties. There were, I believe, 45 properties. All 40 people took the offer, but there were 5 people that didn't take the offer. 2 of them were in Vancouver, and but they ended up selling at a little bit higher price. But that basically took them out of the thing. And believe me, that was a high in the market at that time, which ended up being a low. That was about like looking at the high in 1987 in the stock market. Before the crash, that looked like the high that would last forever. And now you look at it on the chart, it's a little burp. That doesn't really mean anything. Boys and girls, we've got something really big happening this morning in the market that we've been waiting for quite some time, and that is the Treasury bonds. This is what we've been waiting for. Here's where we were as of Sunday. Let's get this puppy up here. And there you go. You'll see we're almost here, folks. We haven't taken out the previous day's high yet, but we're very, very close to it. We've been up to 154.12, and we're looking around 154.28 to 155. 877-927-6648. Call in.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're talking about the December Treasury bonds. We've taken out yesterday's high by 1 tick. I had an order setting in there to sell at 13. And I was not filled, so that basically says, and I believe it was a one lot. I was trying to test to see if what was going to be there. I couldn't even get filled when it made a new high. So there were a lot of orders sitting there at 13 to sell. So maybe that's going to be the high, and we're not going to make it. But pay attention, because sometimes making a higher high by 1 tick and not going anywhere is a sign of something really important in the market. In this instance, it would be supply. Now, I did want to talk a little bit about the crude oil market, because we've had this breakout. But let's just show you the breakout, because it's an important one, to pay attention to. This is this weekly breakout that we were expecting to see. We'll get this puppy up here so we can take a look at it here. And then you'll see here that we've taken this out. Now, if this doesn't continue, in other words, we've had these, we're really strong here for 4 days. We got up to 57 and change, I think 57.40. But if we don't really turn around here pretty quick, it's going to be a possibility that this is a false breakout. Now, you can't bank on that yet, but you got to keep it in the back of your mind because of that long-term pattern. Here's where we were Sunday night in the crude oil. This is what was really important from my perspective, and that is, you'll notice where we gapped up Sunday night. We came back and filled the gap once. Then we had a nice rally. They got up to 56.30, and then we had a beautiful ABCD pattern coming back into the gap one more time. It was a perfect ABCD at that 55.65. That was the low, and from there, off it went to the races. Now, usually when I'm watching a market that's really active, this is what I'll do. I'll go down to a 15-minute chart and try to find a pattern that could give you a either a low-risk entry for a long or a low-risk entry for a short. That's all that's doing, is it's just trying to control the risk as best you can, because you don't know which things are going to be, which ones are going and which ones aren't. Folks, this Saudi Arabia thing is big, because if the people in Saudi Arabia revolt, then there's real problems, and that could happen. So who knows? Hold on here. Let's have a call here from Larry in Las Vegas. Well, how do you do, young man? Nice to hear from you again.
Good morning, neighbor.
What can I do for you?
I got a question for you about how a futures contract is created. I'm getting a little echo here.
How it's created?
Well, let me pinpoint this. We have a crop on the horizon that's not going to go away. It's only getting bigger, and that's marijuana. New states are going to be legalizing this, and it's happening all over the world. Right now, it's not a legitimate business because banks won't loan money, so they're always dealing in cash, that kind of thing. And there's somebody sitting around thinking the same thing as me. They need a futures contract where these growers can be guaranteed a price down the road, which they don't have right now. And if we look at a state like Colorado, which I think it's had it for like 6 years, they've gone through the birthing pains that the wheat farmers had, 100 years ago. You grow a crop and you have a lot at harvest, you get a low price, and then during the rest of the year you don't know what's happening. How is a futures contract created? Of course, CME wouldn't do this right now, but how is it created? How long would it take? And what would a person have to? What do they have to do that?
Well, to do it on a listed exchange, you've got to go to someone that is in charge of that exchange. Years ago, at the Merck, it was Leo Malamed, and my friend Byron Tucker worked with Leo for 5 years. They set up the currency, the pits there, along with the S&P and Jenny Mays and all the other stuff, gold. All of those, but you have to go through a listed exchange. However, Larry, because of the internet, we've got something like Bitcoin is offered on these little exchanges. There's, I think, 1,200 different cryptocurrencies that are going on, but they could probably set it up, on, one of these sites without going through an exchange, much like what foreign exchange does. So all you have to do is have a contract between a buyer and seller. But the problem is you've got to be able to say that both sides are going to, make it a valid contract. Because if you only have a buyer and the seller reneges, then you've got a major problem. That's why
you need a clearinghouse.
Yeah, you need a clearinghouse. You need an organized place where you can, where all these things are cleared, and that's really what you're looking at. See, with foreign exchange markets, they don't have clearinghouses because they have the banks that are doing the trading. And so they act as the clearinghouse, and they've been around for a very, very long time, so it's pretty legitimate. At the CME, they have contracts for foreign exchange, so that is a legitimate one, and that's one of the reasons why they can only charge a $4 commission as opposed to a $10 or $20 commission like the foreign exchange banks do.
And as we all know, Larry, you can always trust the banks.
Oh, yes, especially the ones that are run by ex-politicians. One other thing, Larry, there's one other thing about the marijuana that is important, is the markup on this stuff is it's not like wheat where they're, under cost of production.
Oh, no.
They're making huge amounts of money. I mean, it's so that could possibly be something that maybe they don't even want to get involved with that, but that's a really good idea.
Yeah. Now, see, right now, eventually, one of these banks is going to say, look, there's so much opportunity here. We're going to start loaning them money. And once that happens, they're all going to fall in line because of the opportunity there. Because the banks won't loan them money. That's what's, that's why they're in that bind. And anyway, that's
Here's a food for thought. If I were one of those marijuana guys taking in all that money, I'd buy me a bank.
Yeah, not a bad idea, huh?
And I imagine they've probably already done that. Probably not in Colorado. Probably someplace close to Colorado. Well, it could be Costa Rica. Yeah, it could be anywhere. It could be Arizona. Not that I know that it's here, but
yeah, and that's where all those off-site gambling sites go, down to Anguilla and Costa Rica and places like that to put their businesses in place. You spent a lot of time at Dodger Stadium. I'm just wondering, did you ever get a chance to go to the Gene Autry Museum?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Gene Autry, he owned the Angels, but
Yeah.
we were a big fan of him because people don't know this, but Gene Autry owned a lot of real estate in California, but he owned it between Wilshire Boulevard and Santa Monica. Bob Hope, who
Yes.
owned more real estate, he bought it out in the valley. He bought Westlake Village and the San Fernando Valley because it was cheaper. But Gene, he bought right down Wilshire Boulevard, and yeah, he was the old singing cowboy, really nice guy. My favorite, of course, was Roy Rogers. I got to meet Roy, and we actually went to his home and had lunch with him as a family once, and it was really a treat for us. But those were the old days. It ain't like that anymore, partner.
Roy, you have led quite a life, Larry. And
I've been so lucky. I just can't believe how lucky I've been. It's just been fun. I've had a few bad things, but it's just really really been fun. It really has.
Larry, will you please put all your stories on tape? Just give it to a writer.
I'm working on it. I do a little bit every day. I'm doing a little bit every day.
It'll be
thanks,
far
Larry.
better than anything I've read. I mean, Market Wizards is good, but your book would be far better. It wouldn't be all the trading stuff. The stories alone are fantastic. Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Larry. You have a nice day. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, the chart that I posted in here is one we looked at yesterday, which was the Dow Jones E-mini, making the ABCD pattern down there. You can see right at a 382 retracement. What I want to do now is to update it because here's what happened to it last night. I don't know, I believe it was the Asian markets that were making it move, but you'll notice that we did make a 1.618 expansion of the November 1st high. And so that should be a pretty significant resistance in the Dow Jones. Now, the NASDAQ went a little bit higher too. It hasn't made its final, I believe the final price, 1.618 in the NASDAQ is 63.40. We got to 63.30 in change. The New York Stock Exchange couldn't even make another new high. All it was doing was making a 78% retracement of the previous day's move. So there's a big divergence going along, with some of these things. So it's pretty interesting. Now I wanted to bring something to your attention here, folks, and that is the euro, because the euro is, someone asked if John Jameson was still short. You'll notice here that we're watching this. You'll notice the 1.27 here, that 115.50. That's been the low so far this morning. That might be enough to get a little bit of a bounce, but you'll notice that the longer-term picture down here shows it around 114. And let me give you my 2 cents worth why I think that is important. So I'll just bring this up to let you take a quick look at it. I hope that posted. Did that chart post on the euro? Did it not post? Shut the front door and raise the rent. Boy, I tell you, it did. Okay, thank you so much. All right, let's get this up here. And I want to get this euro up here to let you look at it here, because this is the weekly chart on the euro. This is why we became pretty bearish up there at that 121 area, because you had two 1.27 expansions there and a 1.618 expansion, and that brings you down to the old high from 2016. You'll notice that comes in right at 114.30. Now we've been to 115.55 so far this morning. I don't know if that's going to be it or not, but that was the old high way back in April. I'm still thinking that we got a little bit more to go to the downside. That's what I'm looking at potentially in the euro. So, I could be wrong, which I am often, but we've got to pay close attention to it. Watch that gold market, boys and girls, because if that gold market raises its head, you've got something that, it's going to be very, very interesting to look at. Let's just take a look here at the gold. We owe a big kudos to our good friend Mr. Z in the room yesterday, because if you notice the pattern that we have here from yesterday, you'll notice the 135 pattern with the little cycle thing on the bottom there. That was a 61% retracement there at 0.3, and away it went. And we have to give him a, big, the sound of one hand clapping, because that was a huge move. We went from 66 to 84. Gee, wow, that's $18. That's the harmonic number in gold. And all we've done now is make a 382 retracement. If we get above 1285, let's say 1286, this thing could really have legs. So keep an eye on the euro, because if it strengthens, gold will strengthen. The correlation right now is extremely high in the gold and in the euro. I don't know if it's related to Draghi speaking or whatever. So we'll see what was looking at. Yes, there was a very significant move in cattle. In fact, this is one of the things that we were focusing on in the newsletter this past week, is the fact that we were right up at that 1.27, 1.618 level. And as you can see, we've had a pretty good break. But if we get above that 128 level in cattle, it'll have a pretty good move here to probably 133. And we've got someone from Mount Lucas Road in Princeton, New Jersey. Beverly, are you there?
I am.
How are you?
I'm real good. When are you coming to Philly, by the way?
I'll probably be there for Thanksgiving, would be my guess. That's
okay.
Would be my guess. My wife is still there with the grandkids, because there's a lot of traveling between the mom and dad, so she's sort of helping out. But hopefully I'll be there for Thanksgiving.
Turkey Day.
Yeah, well, we don't have turkey in our family. They're Chinese. We have honey baked ham is what we have.
That's funny, because on Thanksgiving we usually go to an Indian restaurant, because they don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So they'll actually be open, is what I'm saying. Most of the restaurants around here are closed for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Wow.
Anyway, I have a question for you. I'm looking at big charts, and I'm looking at the Dow.
Yes.
And the Dow keeps going up, yet for the last six days, the volume has just been going tanking.
Oh, yes.
I mean, so I'm looking at that as rather ominous because, Tom O'Brien always talks about volume, and it looks like a circus tent going up and going down the other side.
Yeah, it's a lot worse than that, Beverly. I mean, I can't get anybody to listen to me, but since I've got you on the line, the thing that I watch is I watch the open interest, and open interest is just it's terrible. It loses open interest.
Can you put that up on your screen?
No, I can't.
Okay.
I don't have it, but I could do it tomorrow. I'll make a chart for tomorrow and show you that the open interest is dropping. It's dropping even more dramatically in the NASDAQ, which is going up even greater. Now, these are very small contracts as far as the size of them. Do you know what I mean? They're not big like some of the others, but there's when this happens, it's going to be like a helium balloon that just lights up. It's going to just drop like at least that's what it said it should be,
Well, explain exactly what is open interest.
Open interest is the sum total of all the buyers and sellers to form a contract. In other words, to be a buyer, you have to, the other side of the trade has to be a seller.
Right.
And when sellers are buying their contracts back because they're getting margin calls or whatever, there's no one taking the other side of the trade. And that's the main thing. It's just it makes it real easy. And this is what happened in gold at 1932. It's what happened in crude oil at $144 a barrel. Yeah. It's just a matter of time, before it happens. But these are smaller markets compared to the currency markets and some of the others. But that's still the open interest. If you don't have anybody showing up for the store, you don't have any buyers. You know what I mean? And that's what the problem is. It's all short covering.
Well, I'm seeing that just going shopping. There's nobody in the stores.
Well, that's because you're shopping
I'm sitting here looking at this economy, and I'm, excuse me, you go to a department store, you go to the malls, marching bands could go up and down the malls, literally. Tubas, drums, and everything, because there's nobody there. And you look at all these stores closing, Toys R Us, the rest of the department stores. Sears is going to shut down another 58 stores, and I should say Sears and their Kmart stores are going to close down. So I'm looking at how is this economy getting good, and why is the stock market going up when retail sales are crashing?
Well, it's Amazon. Amazon, I don't know, they deliver on Sunday. It's real easy to shop at Amazon. And I had to buy some TJ Maxx toys for my two grandsons, and I ordered them online, and they had them the next day. Free shipping. I mean, how do you... it takes me, time to get into my car to buy TJ Maxx at Toys R Us, wherever I can find it. It's just real easy. Hey, listen, thanks for calling in, and someday I'll pop in and have some tea with you.
You're supposed to email me when you come to Philly.
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Beverly. Yes.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, brought to you by Nadex. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back, folks. And while we were talking to Beverly from Princeton, the Treasury bonds went up quickly to 154.15. I had an order setting at 13, and by the time the beeper went off and I got the fill, it was trading at 09. That's not a sign of a lot of supply or orders up there, folks. So I don't know if it's going to be right or not, but I put my stop at 16 now. If it makes a new high, I lose $60. But we'll see what it does from that level. So we'll see what's actually going to happen. I don't have a chart on that NASDAQ, unfortunately, Maria. I wish I did. If I can get one between the next break, I certainly will. And we'll see if we can. You know what? You're such a good person, and we are going to find one for you. Just a second here. It only takes me a second, and we'll see if we can find it here as the NQ. And we'll do a quick 30-minute on this one. And there we go. You'll be able to see it. And we're rallying back right now as we speak. Give me a second. And I'm looking at a possibility of that area of 40. Just give me a second here. See, this is what you try to walk and chew gum at the same time. Is not a good thing. So there we go. All I got to do now is to find it. And that shouldn't be hard at all. There it is. Okay, here we come. It only took a few seconds. There we go. Here's the chart for the NASDAQ. Yeah, well, you're right. It's very, very close. The difference between 63.36 and 63.40 is like separating fly poop from pepper, because those are pretty much spot on. So just keep a pretty good idea about that. Anyway, let's move on here to talk about some other markets that people have asked us about. They've asked about this euro and why I was looking at that at the 115.55 level as a potential, and I've really emphasized this potential because I don't think it's going to hold very long, but there's a possibility that it could. Oh, shucks, just a second. I did something wrong here. There we go. Now you'll see the 1.618 expansion from yesterday's range. It was not much of a range. You're looking at 30 pips and then down 60 pips. So that's all. And all we should do now is we should rally back to this old low here at around 115.85. And then if it gets above 116, then yes, there's a possibility that it could be pretty good. But right now, I just don't see that. That's just the way I'm looking at it from perspective of just technical analysis. And remember, all of that is certainly the same. We're talking about Priceline here in the den. We used to have a gentleman from La Paz. We miss him a lot. Priceline Charlie. I don't know what happened to him, but we haven't talked to him for well over a year. And I certainly hope he's okay. Charlie, if you're listening, I hope you call in just to let us know you're okay. But he was always, fun to look at. Priceline's down about 10% today after it hit a couple of $1,000 the other day. Can you believe a couple $1,000 for Priceline? Folks, when I was trading back in 1959 and 60, the most expensive stock on the New York Stock Exchange Index, I think we only had about 800 issues then, was Superior Oil. It was $1,200. And, it was, I believe, I don't remember, that might have been J. Paul Getty, I'm not sure. But that was the most expensive one. And now some of these things are, if you didn't do the pick, someone's asking me for a chart on NVDA. If you'll give me a second here, I'll see if I can put this one up. And by the way, when folks call in, it really makes my job a whole lot easier. And here it is right on top. Wow, that's a good sign. We'll bring this up here. And there we go. Well, this is another one into the stratosphere, isn't it? Okay, we'll bring this up and let you folks take a quick look at it. The way I have to do this, folks, I've got to put it into my onto my desktop. Otherwise, I literally I can't do anything with it. So if you'll just give me a second here to get this up on the desktop, we'll take a quick look at it here. And here is NVIDIA. But the only thing I can say here is that it's in the stratosphere, but that don't mean it can't yet. Ionosphere, it's vertical. There's a 3-drive pattern there, but frankly, it could go up some more. How much more? I don't know. You can see, back in February, you had a really nice Gartley at a 382 retracement. You had another, nice ABCD pattern in June, and you haven't had anything. The one thing you've had is during that move in August, you see the breakdown. It was exactly the same as the breakdown that it had in September. Those were perfectly symmetrical moves down. In other words, they were equal. And that's what, pattern recognition is all about. By the way, folks, one of our favorite people here in the den wanted to have a copy. Hold on here, just a minute. They wanted to have a copy of Andrew Lowe's book, The Non-Random Walk Down Wall Street. So he went on Amazon. Folks, he bought a brand new copy. It was said it was used, but it was basically brand new for $9.95. That was delivered $9.95 for that book. I think it was $75, and if you buy the book, I almost guarantee that it's going to be brand new. And the reason why is it has some of the most sophisticated problems in physics and mathematics that you will ever see. I mean, to me, it's just second nature. I can go through those, really, really quickly. And if you believe that, I still have 2 shares of the Brooklyn Bridge available for you. But these patterns, or the formulas that they have in that book, will just, knock your socks off. But that's why the thing it was $8.93. Sorry, Marshall, I didn't realize you were able to get a better price than $9. But that's a pretty good price for that book. Marshall, what was that book brand new? It was around $70, wasn't it? Does it show on there somewhere? But I hope we're going to be testing you on the formulas in there, Marshall, so be sure that you take notes. But it's an incredible book as far as, measuring, patterns and, relationships and stuff like that. So, okay, someone's asked a question about Apple. Let's just put Apple up here. This is what we had for Apple yesterday. And you'll notice that that 176 area is a pretty big spot for Apple. And right now we're still right at the 78% level. Whether it's going to be continuing on from that level or not, we'll have to wait and see. But that's what we're paying attention to. Actually, it's gotten above. The Apple has got up to 175.15. It's rallied $2 off the opening price, which certainly follows the opening price on that. And let's see, the bonds here are down to 154.08. And what do we got here? We've got a little bit of a rally going in the Dow Jones. It's up about 30, and that's about it. Watch the euro, folks. We're up against this area here where it should not get much above 115.80 in the euro. If we get above that, that could say that there's a possibility that we could go a little bit higher. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but that's what we're looking at. So just pay attention to it. It could be very, very interesting from this level. All right. Oh, someone's asked something about politics. I know nothing about politics. I have a hard time learning anything about technical analysis, let alone anything about politics. So let's defer that question to someone who might know the answer to that. But we'll have to wait and see. Okay. Oh, by the way, about Apple, that is a marketing company, folks. It's not a computer company. If you go to an Apple store, you won't believe how high priced this stuff is. They sell a sleeve for the laptop. There, well, I'll get back to you. 877-927-6648.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we've had a request to take a look at one of our favorite markets, which is the wheat market. And I think I can bring this up here without too much trouble. Well, it's actually working today, so let's see. You'll notice that we were looking for wheat to get up to the 435 level. We've only been up to 430. We're backing off a little bit this morning. I don't believe the wheat is going to get much lower than the 420 level, but if you bought it at 420, I would put your stop at break even. That's really what I would be watching. But the thing to be watching today, folks, is to watch these treasury bonds. We came within just a hair's breadth, just a couple of ticks of that downtrend 20-min line that we looked at, and that's going to be very, very interesting. So pay attention to that. It's very, very interesting to see that, but we'll be watching it very, very closely. Now, there is a possibility, of course, we could get to that 155, 155.10 level in bonds without any trouble at all, because that's the big 61% retracement. But right now, it's had a lot of trouble. Just taking out yesterday's high by a little bit. You got to stop and think. And bonds is the largest of all the commodity markets, folks. I mean, it's not bigger than the T-notes, but it has the best volatility of any of them. And, it's really pretty big. So that's going to see what's going on. It could be just a pause. You're absolutely correct. Maybe interest rates are going to go, down forever. And maybe Dorothy and Toto will come back from Kansas. We'll never know until we hear it. That's for sure. All I know, folks, is you got to pay attention to some of these markets because they change very, very quickly. And this is what we like to see because it gives you good volatility. And that's one of the things that we like to see in the market for sure. Keep an eye on this euro. I believe we're going lower. I don't see any reason for why it should go higher as of yet, because our overall picture in this euro is pretty clear that we could get down to that level here of that 114, which is the old weekly low. 877-927-6648.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. If you'd like to be the bank and get the type of interest they receive instead of the low interest rates they give to clients, then I have an investment you may want to take a look at. I'm offering 4-year secured first mortgages on buildable city lots in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment can be anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 per buildable city lot. The interest paid is 7% per year, paid monthly. Depending on the investment, the income per month per lot ranged from $175 for a $30,000 investment to $437.50 for a $75,000 investment. If you are in the CD market, you want to look at this investment. St. Petersburg is located in Pinellas County, which is the densest county in Florida. If you're looking for an investment with your principal intact that pays a good interest rate, this may be for you. The supply is limited, so act now. For more information on these secured first mortgage opportunities, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.